As the sun rose over the small island of Caye Caulker in Belize, a new day brought hope to the residents who had survived the hurricane that hit just days before. Trees were bent, roofs had flown off, and the streets were covered in debris. The hurricane had ripped through everything in its path. But despite the destruction, the islanders were grateful to be alive and to have each other. Among them were Mira and Jordan. Mira and Jordan had been married for 10 years, but their relationship had been struggling long before the storm arrived. High school sweethearts who once dreamed of building a life together on their little island. They had shared laughter, dreams, and promises to stand by each other through everything life would throw at them. But as time went on, their relationship started to feel like a shadow of what it once was. The small things became big things. Jordan felt Mira didn't appreciate how hard he worked, and Mira felt Jordan was no longer present. They barely spoke to each other anymore, and when they did, it felt like they were strangers. When the news of the hurricane came, Mira and Jordan were in the middle of one of their usual arguments. Mira had packed up supplies while Jordan was busy fixing the shutters. "You don't need to do everything yourself, Mira. I said I would help." They had gone to bed that night facing opposite walls, with a storm brewing both outside and inside their home. The night of the hurricane was terrifying. The wind howled like a wild beast, and the walls shook as though they might collapse at any moment. Mira and Jordan huddled together in their small bathroom, the safest room in the house. Despite their differences, they clung to each other in fear, feeling like they might lose everything, including each other. In the darkness, Jordan held Mira's hand tightly. He remembered the first time he had held her hand, back in high school, when they used to walk along the beach. Back then life was simple, and love felt like it would last forever. "Mira," he whispered over the sound of the storm, "I'm sorry." But Mira couldn't hear him over the roaring wind. The next morning, the storm had passed. They stepped outside to find their home in ruins. The roof was gone, windows shattered, and the walls barely standing. It was as if the hurricane had wiped out every bit of comfort and familiarity they had. But as Mira looked around, she realized something. It was just a house. Their home was in pieces, but they were both alive. And as she looked at Jordan, she felt a wave of gratitude for the first time in a long time. The next few days, Mira and Jordan worked together to clear the debris and salvage what they could. They took turns lifting heavy beams, sweeping away broken glass, and finding bits and pieces of their belongings. It was hard work, but it was something they had to do, together. One afternoon, while sorting through the rubble, Mira found an old photo album. She dusted it off and opened it, her heart tugging at the memories. The album was filled with pictures from when they first fell in love, photos from their wedding day, pictures of beach trips, and snapshots from birthdays they had celebrated together. "Look at this," she said, showing Jordan a picture of the two of them on their first anniversary. They were standing on the beach, arms wrapped around each other, smiling like they didn't have a care in the world. Jordan looked at the picture and then at Mira. "We used to be so happy, didn't we?" Mira nodded. "We did." They sat in silence for a moment, surrounded by broken pieces of their home, but connected by the memories they had shared. It was the first time in a long time that they had stopped to just be with each other. One evening, as they were taking a break, Jordan looked at Mira with a serious expression. "I know things haven't been good between us for a while, Mira," he said, his voice soft. "I feel like I've been so focused on everything outside our home that I lost sight of what was right in front of me. I'm sorry." Mira looked down, feeling a mixture of sadness and relief. "I'm sorry too. I guess I've been so caught up in my own world that I stopped thinking about yours." They both sat in silence, the weight of their words settling between them. Then Jordan took her hand, surprising her. "Maybe this storm was a sign," he said. "A chance for us to start fresh, to rebuild not just the house, but us." Mira looked at him, tears welling in her eyes. She had missed this, missed the feeling of being close, of sharing her life with him. In the weeks that followed, Mira and Jordan put their hearts into rebuilding. It wasn't just about fixing the walls or the roof. It was about making their home a place where they could be happy again. They painted together, laughing as they accidentally splashed paint on each other. They planted flowers in the garden, each bloom a symbol of a new beginning. Later that evening, they took a walk to the beach. The sand was soft under their feet, and the sky was painted with shades of pink and orange as the sun began to set. They walked in silence, their hands brushing, until Jordan finally took her hand in his. One day, while they were working on the roof, Mira looked at Jordan and felt a warmth she hadn't felt in years. The sun was shining, and he was smiling at her, and in that moment, everything felt right. "Mira," he said, stopping and looking into her eyes, "I know things haven't been easy, but I want to make this work. I don't want to lose you." Mira felt a tear slip down her cheek as she nodded. "I don't want to lose you either, Jordan. I think we've both been waiting for the other to fix things, but maybe we needed something big, like the storm, to make us realize what we have." Jordan wrapped his arms around her, holding her close as the waves lapped at their feet. For the first time in a long time, they felt like they were truly together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the weeks turned into months, Mira and Jordan continued rebuilding their home, but more importantly, they rebuilt their relationship. They started making time for each other, sharing meals, talking about their dreams, and supporting each other in ways they had forgotten how to. The hurricane had taken away so much, but it had also given them something invaluable, a chance to rebuild, to renew, and to love each other again. And so, as they finished the last touches on their home, Mira and Jordan stood together, hand in hand, looking at the house they had built, not just with bricks and nails, but with patience, understanding, and love. Their love had weathered the storm, and now, stronger than ever, they were ready to face the future together. As Mira and Jordan are putting the final touches on their rebuilt home, Mira discovers an old, weather-worn letter hidden in a small, forgotten drawer in their bedroom. The envelope has Jordan's name written on it in a handwriting she doesn't recognize. Curiosity overcomes her, and she opens it. The letter is from a woman named Lila, and the contents reveal that she was someone from Jordan's past, someone he had once loved deeply, even while he was with Mira. The letter was written years ago, during a period when Jordan and Mira's relationship was strained. In it, Lila confesses her love for Jordan and describes her heartbreak as she realizes that he's decided to stay with Mira and try to make their marriage work. However, she reveals something shocking. She had been pregnant with Jordan's child, but lost the baby shortly after he chose to stay with Mira. As Mira reads the letter, her heart sinks. She feels betrayed, blindsided by a past Jordan had never shared with her. The trust they had slowly rebuilt begins to unravel in her mind, and she questions everything they've been through. In a storm of emotions, she confronts Jordan, demanding the truth. Jordan, caught off guard, admits the affair, telling Mira he felt lost and broken at the time. He explains that the affair had been short-lived and ultimately meaningless compared to his love for Mira, but that the emotional weight of it had kept him silent all these years. He had hoped the past could stay buried, especially after losing the baby. Mira feels shattered. as if the storm that ravaged their home was nothing compared to the one now raging within her heart. She struggles with whether she can forgive him, especially after they've already endured so much. The love they just rekindled feels threatened, and Mira is uncertain if they can ever truly rebuild. The discovery forces Mira to confront her own feelings about forgiveness and the love they once shared. She retreats for some time to her mother's home on the island, needing space to process the betrayal. Jordan, heartbroken, visits the beach every evening, hoping Mira will come back, willing to do whatever it takes to earn her trust again. Mira made the choice to forgive Jordan. Trust and forgiveness will shape the course of their future. With newfound clarity, they realize that love requires both forgiveness and resilience, and whether together or apart, they have been forever changed by the storms that tested their hearts. Therefore, despite it all, they decided that their love could weather any storm. You have just watched Hurricane of the Heart, a Caribbean love story. If you enjoyed my story, give it a thumbs up. Comment, let me know your thoughts, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more Caribbean love stories. This is Irene Pandy Slusher reminding you not to stress. And as we say in Belize, go slow.